good because it's like we need time to judge. Our the most important player in our team has been out. We have like three players in the team that has been out. So when I got angry, no, like I told you this morning, those people that were confident on Terry's, I was just looking at them, I was laughing because
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
you have a keeper dilemma in which we have to fix. So having Areza Balaga at the goalkeeper is for me is absolutely rubbish for me. When I mean rubbish, absolutely rubbish for me. So I'm not
Yeah.
mad because it's a time of transition. You
Yeah, and I
should.
just want to say on Kepa, I just think that should be it now. He cannot play another league game for Chelsea again.
I think Mendy should be done either Monday or Tuesday. It should be done.
Yeah,
Already confirmed already. But we should confirmed it already that what's called that it should he has already done his medical. It should be is what's called his announcement should be done either Monday or Tuesday. So like I said already, as long as Areza Balaga is in that post, we're gonna have an issue. And look at it, ZH, Benchi, Thiago Silva, none of them is fully fit. Christian Pulisic to four
exactly.
players.
I mean, you had a lot of players missing, but my God, I just want to say first and foremost, we were definitely the better team, and we deserved to win that game. Like,
Massively,
especially in the
massively.
second half, you could
No, if
see
not for the
the
if
influence.
not for the red card for me it was 50-50. If not for the red
Yeah,
card, it
that
was 50-50.
potentially, yes, potentially, yeah. But
But
we
because
can't debate that it was a red card. Yeah,
no, no, even how can I even debate that? Because Christensen is stupid. He's stupid for doing that. How can I debate that? He doesn't know what he's doing. As a central back, you know your job as a central back is you cannot go behind the
Mhm.
Sadio Mane cannot get into that ball. Arisa Balaga was already coming out. The problem with Christensen, he did not trust the goalkeeper. He didn't trust
Yeah,
him. He did not. Because I have to watch the videos. I'm watching the videos again back to back now. And I'm looking at what the commentators are saying. He did not, him himself as a central back did not trust Arisa Balaga. That was why he fouled Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane can get, he can't
exactly.
even get into that ball. He cannot because the ball is too much for him. So if you trust a goalkeeper that is gonna come out and kind of be a keeper sweeper, then you are confident of being like, okay, good. If someone like Thiago Silva was there, those things will not happen because he has position, he's experienced enough to know what's going on. It's very experienced. People say it's old, but in that kind of scenario, an experienced defender will not make that silly mistake. Van Dijk will not do that. It won't.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the first half you could just see there was a lack of cohesion from both teams. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was quite a cautious game. Like none of the two wanted to really go for it until
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
until Christensen made that stupid mistake. But
yeah,
in the second half, I knew we were going to win the game because obviously with the man advantage and Thiago coming on, it was going to be so easy for us to dominate the game and find
exactly.
more space.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Because even Thiago coming on was even good. Even when it comes to penalty, the penalty that Jorginho missed, mine is I know Jorginho is our penalty taker, but Timo Werner was the one who caused the penalty. Why didn't he take the penalty? Why? Why didn't he?
Mm,
No, he's the one who caused the penalty, right? Jorginho is our penalty taker. I completely
exactly. I
understand.
think for confidence, it's important for Werner to take the
Exactly.
penalty. Yeah,
He's the
that's
one
what I
that
was
caused the
thinking.
penalty. He should be the one. He should be the one taking the penalty. Why Jorginho is taking the penalty? Why? What's going on?
Yeah,
What is
I mean, I can
not
understand, but I think in that situation, sometimes you just have to let your striker take it.
exactly. You don't even need to step into the penalty at all. Now that it's already missed now, I believe the next one should be given to Timo Werner. Now that it's already missed now, his brain will be okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now that it's
He
already
has to
missed,
take the next one.
Because the first penalty we got against Brighton, it was one who take it. I was like, Timo Werner, what's going on? Go, you are the striker. You brought him to score goals.
Mm,
Tell Jorginho, let me take that penalty. Let me take it. You came in to score goals. Then what's Jorginho doing? What's he doing?
absolutely. I think the first goal, I can't really blame Chelsea because it was a fantastic team goal, especially Firmino, with that brilliant assist for Mane.
I blame
And
Alonso.
after that, I just think it became a lot easier.
Alonso messed up in the first goal. He messed up, massive messed up because when the two
Mm,
ball goes, it was a left back that was already tracking the guy who gave Sadio Mane the ball. You are a left back. Why are you blocking a central midfield who's supposed to be the one blocking you? Eh? Your job is to stay in your lane, and when the ball comes in, block it. What are you doing outside? What are you doing?
absolutely. I'll have to watch that game again because I'm still just too happy from the victory. I
You
was
know,
just so
like I said
pleased
already,
with the second half.
like I already told you, when you guys Santiago Cantara, you will win the league.
Mm,
Then, like I said, we cannot win the league. We will only challenge. Like I already said it already. People
yeah.
may back me. I may no. I already told you, we cannot win that league until Areza Balaga is being sorted out. Even if Areza Balaga is being sorted out, I still want to see
I think Chelsea have the team to challenge, but it's far too early to say whether they were gonna like challenge the entire distance, because obviously, like we said before in the preview, they would need more time to gel. Like there's a lot of new players that need to integrate in the
they will
team.
need like 2-3 months to gel because that team
Mm.
need time to gel. Need time. I understand Timo Werner is gonna be the striker. I completely understand, but everybody in that team needs time. The only player in that team that played very well is Matthew Kovacic, Ugolo Kante, and Timo Werner.
Zuma as well. Yeah, Zuma was
Timo
good.
Werner was absolutely mad. The guy was just running crazy. It shows how professional of a player he is. It shows. He's very, very good player. People say we should have played Giroud in that match. I don't really think we should have played Giroud.
No. I think it would have been difficult for Giroud.
Yes, it would have been. Timo Werner, the person I miss most is Christian Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech. These are the two players I miss most because when we have Pulisic in that team, he's a very direct player. He can shoot, he can score goals. It's gonna give Liverpool problem, huge one. And when you have Hakim Ziyech who can pass, who knows when to pass and when to shoot.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was very confident about Liverpool winning this game, not least because of our quality, but also because of the players that Chelsea have missing. And even had they played, it would have probably been maybe even a draw, because still the players would need time to gel. I mean, Fabinho today I thought was fantastic. For me, he was my man of the match.
Yeah,
because he was not really a centre back, and he slotted in and played really, really perfectly.
Yeah, it was fantastic. The reason it was fantastic is because Timo didn't get enough chance. Because 1v1 with Timo Werner is deadly, very deadly. 1v1 with him. But I know people may bash us and say we did it. No, for me, I'm not even angry. I'm not. No.
Yeah, no, it's still early days. It's still early days to panic.
Ask him about Kepa. Look at what he said. It was a big mistake, clear mistake, and you reflect on the half without the mistake, and the penalty withdraw. The game should have been 1-1. I'm actually happy.
I mean, what's the next league game for Chelsea then? I mean,
it's West Brom.
Yeah, I mean, surely Kepa will be dropped on the bench. Yeah, I don't see him starting after that one.
After West Brom, we play either Crystal Palace, then we go for the international break. That will massively help us, though. It will help us.
I agree. Yeah, I agree, because Chelsea just need time to gel. But today I knew we were going to win that game, especially when Christensen got sent off, because essentially I had doubts whether Klopp would bring on Thiago straight away. But as soon as that happened, I think it was clear that we were going to take control and create more chances and more overloads.
I think if Klopp was hesitating to bring him like around 60 or 70 minutes, the ball would have changed.
The red card changed it, because the red card allowed him to bring on Thiago quicker.
Exactly.
Because he knows that Thiago is a player that will facilitate the ball quickly, like into the forwards, into the wingers.
Exactly. After the red card, I think everything was okay. I don't even know what to say about Kepa. Maybe we need to have a discussion about Kepa. I do not know what to say.
Yeah. I mean, we already knew that he was a mess, to be fair.
No, this is just like Loris Karius of Liverpool.
Same thing, to be honest, in terms of even the confidence. Like, you just know he's not going to improve.
Exactly. Loris Karius of Liverpool. Same issues happen. People were back. Club said, I don't want him. He bought Alisson Becker. Look at Alisson Becker today. Look at him today. So that's the level we want to go to as a Chelsea. People were bashing Kai Havertz is poor. For me, Kai Havertz was important. He played very well. I was impressed with him today. Very impressed. If you look at those 2 passes he was giving out, when Kante should have scored in the first half, that he went back again, I was like, Kante, shoot that ball, just shoot it. So for me, Kai needs time to gel up together. I understand the Lampard. He didn't even play him in the wing.
He's not even playing in his best position, to be honest with you. Exactly. Yeah, but we said this a long time ago. He should be playing in a number 10 in like a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, if you want to play my number 10, you need Hakim Ziyech to play Kai Havertz at number 10. You need Hakim Ziyech. Ziyech is not there. How do you want to play him as a number 10? It's not possible. That's no Ziyech. So
absolutely. And I just think Liverpool are ahead of Chelsea in terms of their play style and the progress and everything. So I thought, for me, obviously as a Liverpool fan, the least I expected in this game was a draw, because Chelsea are a great team, but then it goes back to what we said earlier as well. The team needs to gel. Lampard, for me, sometimes his in-game management isn't always the best as well. If you think about it. So
but for me,
he can still learn. He can still learn like his best system.
Lampard did not make any mistake today. It was the right formation he played.
Yeah. No, I think he played the right system, but I feel like maybe he can do a little bit better in a sense of like figuring out that chemistry between the front three. Because Mason Mount, I don't know if Mason Mount was like influential in this game. I don't think he was that good personally.
He was playing, but it was on and off. It was on, off,
Yeah.
on, off, on, off. It was on, off. I understand because the way Lampard play, you need Mason Mount in the way Lampard play because he's the one who orchestrates the way we press. He's the one. So I
Yeah.
completely understand that. Yes, in this mount, but at some situation when
For
you have
me,
to
he's
put
more of a midfield player than a winger. I don't think he suits that attacking line as much.
Exactly. I don't. At the moment, I really don't know what the people may bash. I completely is for me. It's time. We need time to gel. We need time to just gel. It happens to club also too. Before club when club came into Liverpool, yeah, it took time for him to put the team together. It took him time.
Yeah.
It will take time for the team to gel. Like I said, we are not winning the EPL. I already said it.
Oh no, I don't think so this season. No.
I don't know why Chelsea fans are happy. I already said it. We're not winning the EPL. We're not.
Yeah, I think it was just the excitement of signing all those players, but you have to be realistic.
I already said it. As a Chelsea fans, we're not gonna win the EPL. It's complete. It's not complete. We can't. We may finish second or third. Good, but to win the EPL we can't do it. We can't because the player. Look at today where we play today. What kind of system do we play? Zero. We're just defending. No cohesion. No chemistry. No system. Nothing. There's nothing. So tell me, how do we play? How do we win the league when you have no leaders in your team? No left back, no central back, no goalkeeper, no wingers. How do you play?
Yeah, for me, it's unrealistic to expect Chelsea to win the league this season because, let's face it, last season they were miles behind Liverpool, and even Manchester City were quite a distance clear of Chelsea. So that's why I made the prediction of Chelsea finishing third because we need to see this team gel in the next 2 to 3 months, and once they do, then maybe they can. I wouldn't say they're not going to be improving from last year, but I think they can definitely challenge. But even second place, I wouldn't expect from Chelsea, but because there's still a long way to go. I mean, we still have to see how they will do in other competitions and how the likes of Ziyech, Havertz, etc. settle. So, but for me, this was too early. I thought I always knew this was the right time for Liverpool to play against Chelsea today.
Exactly. But I think Lampard made a mistake when he took out Kai Havertz. He should not have taken out Kai Havertz. He should have taken out Mason Mount or Jorginho. Mount or Jorginho. That should have been the player that should have been taken off, not Kai Havertz.
I mean, I understand in a sense that Havertz is still new, but you have to allow him to integrate as well. I mean, he was making mistakes, but for me, even Kai Havertz at his worst for me is better than Mount, man. For me, like just it didn't make sense, but ultimately, what cost Chelsea this game was Christensen and Kepa. Ultimately,
Arrizabalaga for me, like
yeah.
I don't know what to say about.
Yeah, I know, man. I know how you feel, man. It's frustrating. It really is because I've been in that position before as well, where I've had to see my club's goalkeeper make a big mistake, especially in a Champions League final. Imagine how that feels. Trust me, man. I've been there before, man.
This is not the first time we've been talking about Kepa.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time now.
At the moment, I don't know what to say about Arrizabalaga. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For me, I'm gonna be honest with you. For me, like when he first signed for Chelsea, I did not expect him to be amazing, but I also expected him to be like half decent. But the problem with Kepa is not even just his errors. We know that he's error prone and that he's not a good keeper.
His
but
confidence is poor.
He's horrible. He's horrible. But what I was gonna say is that when teams play against Kepa, they're not afraid to shoot. I mean, even today you're seeing Gini Wijnaldum take shots, Thiago take shots. We were always just taking shots every time.
I don't know what. I have no idea what.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I have to admit now, Lampard, like for me, he can't defend him in the press conferences, and because I didn't watch the press conference or anything after the game, so I'll have to.
They asked him about Kepa, Arrizabalaga, the new goalkeeper. He said, I don't want to talk about Kepa. He said, I do not want to talk about Kepa. He has already given
Yeah,
up.
for me that's a clear sign. For me, yeah, that's a clear sign because after the Brighton game,
Mm-hmm.
he actually said, he's our
He
first choice."
backed
I know
him.
he didn't mean it, but he
Mhm.
but
Because they
today
asked
he
him,
said, "I'm not even going to talk about him."
exactly. He said, I'm not
Yeah,
going to talk about Kepa. I'm not going to talk about him at all. He said it already. I listened to the press conference. He said, I'm not going to talk about Kepa. I'm not. He already given
yeah,
up already. Even Peter Cech was already watching. I was
yeah,
like, what's going on with this, with Kepa himself?
yeah. Obviously, for me, there's not really any positives to take from Chelsea today, other than the fact that Zuma was excellent. Um, I guess the one other positive is that Kepa will not be starting in your next league game. I'm pretty sure now after this one.
We have suffered a lot. We have suffered. We've suffered a lot. We have suffered as a Chelsea fans.
Mm,
We've suffered a lot. My lord, we suffered from when Eden Hazard left. That's when we started suffering. But not
yeah.
even Hazard. When Conte left around 20, is it 2017 when we won the league? When was that? That was 2017.
Something
When
like that, yeah. To be fair, I was watching the game in the first half and I was thinking to myself, this is a very tactical game. Like Liverpool were not like better than Chelsea in the first few minutes. No, nor were Chelsea. It was like a very, very tactical game where nobody was really pushing. And then all
in
of a
fact,
sudden, the red card happened.
it was in a 4-2-2-2, 4-2-2-2, more like a
Yeah.
4-5-1 midfield. So I was like, okay, let's see how this is gonna pan out. Let's see how it's gonna go.
Mm,
Immediately, Christiansen got a red card. I was like, it's game over. It's completely over. It's completely game over. Because I was still shocked, like, what the hell is going on? What's going on? Because the defense was masked from Salam and they were not even seeing any chance to play anything in the first time because they were literally blocked, no nothing to come in. Like I said already, even if Thiago Silva comes in, if the goalkeeper doesn't sort himself out, it's gonna be a huge problem.
absolutely. I would imagine Mendy will play straight away. He has to play straight
Yeah,
away.
because
Um,
if
because I
Thiago
think
Silva
that
is
deal will be done now.
and if Thiago Silva is there and Kepa is doing this shit, Thiago Silva because we need a leader who can shout on Kepa, who can tell him, "What the hell are you doing? You're a goalkeeper. Stay in your lane." We need someone like John Terry, someone that can
Yeah.
shout on you. Like, when you make that mistake, stay in your lane. Don't come out. You know when to come out and when to push the ball. That is the experience I need in my team. And that's
You
what
know what? The funny thing is, I could see this mistake coming because even earlier in the game,
we made it.
we were pressing very. Every time Kepa had the ball, Firmino was pressing very aggressively, very.
Mhm. Exactly.
But I was impressed with how Chelsea dealt with the press in general in terms of like the defenders. But Kepa looked shaky, and in the end, we saw the mistake. It was coming. But yeah,
Ah,
man. I mean, this guy, I'm pretty sure. For me, obviously now he's not going to be playing the next league game, so that's a huge positive for Chelsea at the moment.
I don't know. Is Mendy gonna quarantine? Is he gonna quarantine or no?
I think he should because the West Brom game is next weekend. So,
Yeah,
and in midweek, Willie Caballero will probably play. So I don't think it's a big
exactly.
issue.
Exactly. I'm not sure maybe he's gonna quarantine because I'm hearing some people saying he's gonna quarantine. Some people say it's not
Oh
gonna
yeah, yeah,
quarantine.
yeah, 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 true.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. If that's the case, then wow. But today I knew it wasn't gonna be Chelsea's day, man. Obviously, yeah, I may sound biased and whatnot, but Liverpool for me, like we were never gonna play as badly as we did against Leeds. Like we were more concentrated today, and the signing of Thiago, I think you could see it gave the team a huge lift.
Hello.
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I was wondering, I wasn't hearing anything. So what's good, yeah? How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear
Okay.
you. How you doing today? How has been your day?
Very well.
First?
Very, very well. Even despite the loss, because I guess my expectation was not exactly so high going into this particular game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it seems like we are weaker in quotes, weaker and played worse off than we were last season. I mean, in both games against Liverpool. Remember the first leg against Liverpool?
Mm-hmm.
Even during the what they call it, the Super Cup, we put out a better performance last season. Even though we eventually lost 2-1, we played better than we did last season as against our performance today. So I don't know. I knew going into this game there were lots of things that were not right. So I didn't expect so much.
So, firstly, your thought on Arrizabalaga. So, your
Um,
thought on.
with regards to Ariza Balag, I think there's nothing new to say. We're just for obvious reasons, Chelsea is just managing to pull through with him. There's nothing new I'm going to say. It's the same thing, the same problem. Remember the last time we talked, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And I said um, he actually will actually be under more pressure right now. And it's just about seeing how he perform with the news of him being replaced or, him being sold from the club. The news is everywhere in his face. How he deals with it was what I was just curious to see. And even though there were moments in the game where he made good saves, I mean, saves that should be customary for a goalkeeper of Chelsea's standard. But he made those saves. There were times that it seemed like he was trying to prove himself, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then you always saw him fall short, or at least at the end of the day, we saw him fall short. I won't say we always saw him. This particular game, we saw him fall short, and that's at the end of the day just tells the full story of Kepa Arrizabalaga. He's a goalkeeper that sometimes, yeah, he might want to do and do, but he's just not up to it. If you remember, there was a time, I think it was a couple of months ago or so. Are you there?
Mm-hmm. I'm there.
A
I can
couple
hear
of a
you.
couple of months ago that we are talking, and I said I think it's now unfair to put down the person, the character that is Kepa Arrizabalaga. There is there is his personality, and then there is his goalkeeping qualities. Now it seemed like the criticism was moving away from his qualities and abilities as a goalkeeper to himself as a person. When people abuse him or when we fans get overzealous and abuse him and stuff, I said he is a person, and his person should be differentiated and separated from his abilities. He's just not up to it, right? So his personality is that person that sometimes, yeah, he makes attempts at saving the ball, or sometimes he's determined that he says, okay, I'm going to try to do this, I'm going to do better. But his limited ability is what we ended up seeing. Do you understand?
Yep.
And that limited ability is part of what makes him not as good as maybe an Oblak or the gear as he was in the past, or Casillas. That's his cap, because he always have that limitation of either losing concentration or making silly mistakes here and there. It is just who he is. He just can't do it. So it's nothing new to me. I wasn't surprised about it. I was actually more impressed with the saves he made. The save he made from Thiago Alcantara.
Mm-hmm.
I was more impressed. I was more shocked, right?
Mm-hmm.
That save actually made more impression on me than
Mm-hmm.
the goal he conceded. So it's business as usual for Kepa Arrizabalaga.
So, my
Now,
okay.
according to sorry,
Go ahead.
okay,
Go ahead.
now according to the latest news from Fabrizio, he
Mm-hmm.
has confirmed that Mendy's deal is 100% done. The
Yep.
Correct.
club, yeah, the club have actually announced, Ren have actually announced his
His
exit.
departure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just left for Chelsea to announce his arrival. So that one is done and dusted. Now, another question now is, would he just come into the side when he comes into Chelsea? Would he need that extra break, few months, as we are seeing, or as we intend to give a player like Kai Havertz to birth into the Premier League and understand the new terrain he's in? Time will tell.
I think for me it's gonna go straight to Inter. I do not want to see Kepa. I've been saying it, Kepa needs to, but at the moment, like I'm short of what with Ariza Balaga at the moment. I do not know what to say. I just don't know. Kepa doesn't give all Chelsea fans, including me, confidence. No, 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 no. The same thing happens with Liverpool when they have carriers and their post carriers and Mignolet. No confidence. No confidence. So even if he sign tomorrow or Tuesday, I want him to start against West Bromwich Albion next week. I don't want to see Kepa in the post. No, no, I'm done with Kepa. I'm completely done with him. I am done. Done. No, I'm completely done. Entirely done.
I'm actually surprised that you expected more from him. I mean, going into this
No,
game. I mean, you shouldn't be surprised. It's the same Kepa.
no, I'm done with Kepa. I'm just done with him.
And you know what? Yeah. There was someone that put out an argument, saying one of the reasons Christensen actually went for committed
He
that.
did not trust Kepa. He did not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll
committed
join
that
back in a
foul was
second,
because he
guys.
didn't trust Kepa. He didn't trust that
Mhm.
Kepa would get the ball. At least Kepa would do a good job of, you know,
Mhm.
making an attempt to save it.
Mhm.
Not even just saving it, but at least making an attempt. Other goalkeepers will make an attempt, even if they don't eventually get it. But Kepa may eventually make the wrong decision, and then Christensen at the end of the day got
Mhm.
sent off for his own, you know.
Exactly. Because if Christianity trusts Kepa, I believe he wouldn't have forced Stadium because Stadium can get into the ball. He cannot get into the ball. He cannot. The ball was too much for him. He cannot. But Christianity instead doesn't even trust Ariza Balaga. He did not. He did not trust Balaga. That was why he made that hero. Because he believed I don't trust him. So I'm just gonna make that hero. I'm just gonna make that hero. Ah, I don't know what to say about Pepper. Like it doesn't give zero of confidence for everybody at all. Every damn body. Chelsea fans were happy. Timo Werner can have like I keep saying they need time to gel. I will give Kai massive time. 2 3 months, I'll give him time. He will come good. I have no issues with Kai Havertz. I have no issues with that. My problem is as a Chelsea that if he wants to win trophy, challenge for big honors.
Did you just say you have no issue with Kai Havertz?
Yes, because I know he will come good. He needs to give him time. This is APL.
Oh
It's
my
different than the
goodness.
Bundesliga. It's completely different.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness. Oh
yes,
my goodness. Oh my goodness. I have a mouthful to say about Kai Havertz.
I know.
I don't want it to seem like I'm judging him too early.
Mm-hmm.
But for a player, I'm questioning his not questioning, but I'm looking at him from a different perspective. Trying to see through his mentality, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the first game he had just joined the club 8 days before, and then they said he was played out of position. This particular game, he's supposed to be fit, but beyond being fit, there seems to be this air of this lackadaisical, pedestrian attitude about him sometimes. It seems like sometimes he might have his moments. I'm not even talking about misplacing passes here and there. Yeah, maybe he's a little bit nervous. But there seems to be this pedestrian thing about him. Maybe he's just walking around or just strolling around the pitch. I've not seen that thing, the fire. Even when Timo doesn't have the ball, you see it about Timo. Timo makes
Mm-hmm.
mistakes, misplaces passes, but there's something I haven't seen it yet with Kai, and I hope that's not who he is. I hope he has the typical German mentality, as we're used to seeing. I just hope he'll snap out of this, and maybe Lampard will maybe drop him on the bench for a while and jolt back his senses.
Mm-hmm.
It's the expensive buy, record signing for club and country, at least
Yep.
for German Bundesliga. Yeah.
Yeah, I know people will bash me about Kayava because I have total confidence in him. Like I keep saying, as a Chelsea fan, how much time will we give him? I will give him enough time, for him to get out. 1 month,
Fair play.
2 months, I will give him enough time because you cannot compare the Bundesliga and the EPL. It's totally different, massively different. No matter how you can become a record signing, there's a massive difference in that. Once for me, once you understand the league and how we want to play and how we want to go forward as a team, I believe we will see the best of Kai Havertz. We will see the best of Kai Havertz. If you remember, we're missing some key players in that team. Pulisic, what's called Akim Ziyech. If you want to play Kai Havertz in his best position, you need players to play around him.
Oh my goodness. Literally said, have you forgotten how many
He
times you
said it's number
analyzed?
10.
Are you
Yes,
trying to make excuses for him? He can play anywhere
I'm
behind
not
the defender.
okay.
I mean,
Outside, I'm
behind
not
the
making.
striker,
I
or
got
at
you.
least anywhere in that central midfield. Come
Hmm.
on.
I'm not making an excuse for Kai Havertz. What I'm saying is Lampard himself needs to figure out where to play Kai Havertz exactly himself. because Lampard hasn't figured it out yet. He hasn't.
He,
He needs to figure out how to play Kai. People say he can play
the
Kai.
question is you. Where should Lampard now play him? He played him
If
from the
all,
wing the last time.
if
He's
all
not
those
even
players
playing
are
Midfield.
fine.
if all those players are fit, I tell Lampard to play him as a number 10.
Chelsea
Let
Chelsea should not have got rid of Willian and Pedro at the same time. They should have kept one of them because they haven't got any wingers to
The
play there.
experience.
Yeah, exactly. Experience, and like you should look at such as Liverpool. Liverpool's fullbacks go far too forward, and if you catch them out, that's how you can beat Liverpool. You put balls in the box, and the problem was with today, with such as Werner was isolated by two. I can't really say Fabinho was a centre back because he's not, but two defensive-minded players. Because if he goes Van Dijk's side, you're not going to get past Van Dijk, and if you try and boot the ball up to him, he's going to get out jumped. Exactly the same with Fabinho. So he had to drift out wide, and when he drifted out wide, he had the joy. But when he drifted out wide, you've not got a striker then in the box. So if you put balls in the box, there's going to be nobody there. So I think tactically, Lampard got it wrong today, and that was the problem. I wouldn't necessarily nail it down to a player like Havertz, for example. Yeah, he's only played 2 games, but he has played. He's played enough minutes to get used to the league by now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know people say, give players 5 or 6 games. You know, I look at all the signings all the players that have come into, this league from other leagues in previous years. You know, Rodri went to Man City. He's not hit the ground. He didn't hit the ground running instantly.
Mm-hmm.
That was a problem. You know, I know people say about obviously Fernandes did what he did at Man United. Yeah, but the comparisons between leagues strikes. The Portuguese league is very similar to the Premier League. Very intense. You don't have a lot of time on the ball, and you've got to pick your passes. That is the Premier League in a nutshell. There, you've got to be quick. You've got to be, manoeuvrable. And if you don't have that, then you won't make it. And that's why the German league is completely different, such as the Premier League, like you said. And that's why such as Havertz is struggling. Say if Man United went and got Jadon Sancho would not come back to England and hit the ground running. It would take him a little bit because the Bundesliga is different to the Premier League. The Bundesliga is more.
How about Timo? What do you say about Timo then?
There's a difference.
What about Timo? Well, the thing that I say about Timo is Timo's been systemed to play. The way Lampard's playing him now is different to how Nagelsmann was playing him at Leipzig. And the difference behind that is Nagelsmann shifted him out wide and he used Poulsen as the target man and he used him as the main striker. Whereas now with Frank's playing him through the middle, but he's not getting any joy there, so then he's having to shift out wide. And then suddenly you've got nobody to play centre forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why someone like Giroud, you bring Giroud on tonight, I think Chelsea probably score, or at least create enough chances for him to have at least a good go at scoring. Because if you put balls into the box and you've got a striker sitting there, and I know this from previous experience because, the great strikers, Ibrahimovic, very, very tall. As soon as you're in the box and if you've got a good player that can cross the ball, prime example is at Wolves, Adama Traore and Raul Jimenez. As soon as Adama Traore gets the ball, he puts the ball in the box, and Jimenez is 9 times out of 10 the player on the end of it. And that is the prime example there of what Werner and Giroud could do, because it could be just, or even Havertz if he's playing out on that wing. I'm sure Havertz knows how to put a ball in the box.
Yeah,
we saw that from the set piece.
Well, he hasn't done anything to show he knows how to do that.
Yeah, I know that, but this is what I mean. He's being played out of position with Havertz, so that's the problem. Werner's being played partly in the right position.
You say he played out of position. He was played out of position today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was playing at right wing. Havertz was playing at right wing. Havertz is a creative midfielder. He's not a winger.
Yeah.
He's not a winger. That's the main thing. He's not a winger, and that's why Frank's having to play him out there because he's got nobody else to play.
Exactly.
Who does he play at right wing? Reece James. This is what I mean. But then you've not got a right back. He's got no right-sided players. That's the problem, and that's why I just made the point about Willian and Pedro both going. Suddenly, it's just like when Ziyech comes back into this team. If Hakim Ziyech gets injured, suddenly, who do you play at right wing? There's still nobody there. And even if you put in, you could put in Pulisic maybe on that wing and then put Mount out on the left, something like that. But there's too many players playing out of position, and this is what injuries does to your teams. It makes it confused and it makes it unbalanced. That's it. There you go. Man United is a prime example. At the start of the season, when Man United played Chelsea and they won 4-0, every player that played in that team did not play the full season for Man United because Martial was out for some time. Rashford, Pogba, key players were out. Exactly the same with such as Chelsea. Key players were out, and I just think that the transfers have been good, but it's just a case of trying to get it to all balance out really with other players. But all I can stress is just give new players time. It's been we're on match day 2 for crying out loud. We're not at Christmas where it's midway through the season. When it's like halfway through a season, then I'd start to judge and start to worry.
Exactly. But that's what I said. It needs to be given time. That's what I thought of. Like it needs to be given time. I'm not gonna just like I said. I'm not gonna just have it now. It needs to be because we cannot compare the Bundesliga and the EPL. Both of them are massive different. There's a difference in both of them. Because
100%.
in Bundesliga you have more space to run into. In EPL, no space. So there's a difference in both of them.
And the pitches are smaller.
Exactly. People say Thiago today came in. If you look at even cost the penalty today in which Chelsea missed. You could see the let me see how fit of a player he is. He's not that fully fit yet because he hasn't understand how the EPL is. If you look at the way he's playing, so there needs time to kind of gel together, understand. People may compare Kai Havertz to James Rodriguez. There's a difference between James and Kai Havertz. There's a massive difference between James Rodriguez and Kai Havertz. Rodriguez knows what to do. He can play as left wing, right wing, and as number 10. He knows what to do. He has been under Carlo Ancelotti for many years now. For so many years. Carlo knows him very well. So there's a massive difference between both of them. Because people are kind of comparing him to James Rodriguez. There's a massive difference between them. There's a massive difference. Kai needs time to gel like 1, 2, 3 months for him to understand the league entirely. Once he's there and understand the league, then everything will come in together. It's all about committing, understanding when to pass. If you look at today's match, there was some movement in which Timo Werner was making. When the ball was in Marcos Alonso, he will have to hold on to the ball, pass back. Why are you passing back? Someone already made the movement. Give him the ball.
Yeah.
There was a movement in which
Mason Mount
too. Look at there was a movement. That's what I'm talking about.
Mount
chemistry.
Was bad.
Yes, there was no chemistry in that. If there was chemistry, when you look at the movement, when Timo make moves, give him the ball. He knows what to do with the ball. He knows. So that the chemistry will come in. It's all about playing together, understanding each other as a team. Then when they understand each other as a team, we will see more of Chelsea. We will see that. Today I was not even angry because I expected this to happen. I completely expected it to happen.
Yeah.
I expected it because I know it will happen. We have too many players outside that are not even ready to. People may have beat Lampard. This is fit to play. No, this is a new league. We need to understand something. This is a completely new league. This player needs to understand how the EPL works.
Yeah.
What to do. It's completely different.
Yeah, and it's going to be the same with such as Ziyech. Ziyech isn't going to come straight into this team and suddenly be, crapping out assists and, scoring wonder goals like he was for Ajax. It's going to take him time.
Yeah, but
the thing that I get at is with a lot of I'll just say this, with a lot of Ajax players, when Ajax players have come to the Premier League, they adapt instantly. That's what I'll say because Donny van de Beek, as soon as he came on to play for Man United yesterday, you could see a change in that midfield. It was completely different because the Dutch league is very similar to the Premier League, just like with the comparison that I made about the Portuguese league. And exactly the same with what happened when such as Daley Blind came over to play for Man United. Instant impact. So I would expect the same from Ziyech.
Because people Lampard even said it, like what he likes more about Ziyech is his passing range, his ability to pick up passes.
Yes.
He knows when to pass. Lampard said it in the press conference that people may not watch more about Ziyech, but when he has the ball, when the player make movement, Hakim Ziyech already know, okay, either to pass you the ball on the head or beside you. He knows what to do with the ball. His passing range is ridiculous. Everybody knows. So you just have to like.
Rio Ferdinand actually said it. Rio Ferdinand actually said that he had a conversation with Lampard And Lampard told him that he has never seen anybody that passes as good as Hakim Ziyech, that he couldn't believe it. Like Lampard literally told Rio Ferdinand. Ferdinand was saying it on one of the program, one of the match shows that he was on. And you know what? That's why for currently until we have Thiago Silva, Chilwell, and of course Hakim Ziyech. Ziyech especially. We have him fit and part of the squad. I don't really expect much from this current Chelsea side, honestly.
Yep.
No matter who else is in the side, no matter who Lampard starts, as long as we don't have Ziyech in the side, at least I want to see how Ziyech and Timo Werner will work together. Kai Havertz, if he's out for now, if he's benched and does not start the next couple of games in the next 1 month, I won't really feel it that much because I think he needs time to bed into the squad and the league.
Exactly. So people may bad. That's why I said Kai needs to be given time to understand. I understand he's been playing in Bundesliga for this, but I completely understand. But if there's no chemistry in the team, there's no way you expect a player to perform. There's no way. This stuff will happen. I kind of understand. It will happen. It will. That's why I'm not as a Chelsea fan, I'm not going to give my opinion. I already said it. There's a difference between challenging for the league and winning the league. It's a completely different thing entirely. Because when you want to win the league, you have to have a consistent back four that you know you can trust and a very good, outstanding goalkeeper in which you can trust if you want to win the league. So Chelsea winning the league, and no, I'm not all for it at the moment. I'm not all for it. No, I'm not. When in this those teams need time to gel together. The chemistry needs to gel together with each other. They need to understand each other very well. If there's no understanding between those teams, we will surely fully fucked up a lot in some things. If there's no chemistry a lot, we will. So right there, what are you doing, bro?
No, where's offside? Where's offside?
She's coming back. She's coming back.
You're coming back. Okay, so
so let me go to Yassin Said first. Said, what's your take on the match for the Liverpool? So let me see. Before the red card, what was the intention? After the red card, what were you feeling? Overall matches. Can you just sum it up for us?
To be honest, this being completely objective, I thought there was a very, very even game. Defensively, I thought you guys were absolutely superb in the first half. I feel like Liverpool really didn't have a shot on target, in my opinion. I don't remember a clear-cut chance they had in the first half where you said, people will say, what, Liverpool should have done better there. I genuinely believe, and I also thought that you guys were doing better in terms of counter-attack in Liverpool. You guys were just getting, the space that Timo Werner was running into was, in my sense, I was surprised. Fabinho, as much as well he played, I thought in the first half, I think, I don't know why Timo Werner wasn't. Seemed like every time Timo Werner runs, he stops and he just waits for what the defender is gonna do instead of just running and then making defender quickly and playing quickly and making the defender make a gamble, make a choice, because he slows down. And I didn't quite understand that. There was, I think, the best chance in the first half might have been N'Golo Kante. The N'Golo Kante was that chance he had.
I think Mason Mount or someone ball and it was back straight to N'Golo Kante. He should have shoot the ball. Shoot.
And then he just I thought one thing that was interesting is N'Golo Kante, the way, I don't like the way Lampard and sorry, I don't like the way they coach Kante, because what was obvious is that they want Jorginho to be the defensive midfielder. So hence why you saw Kante playing forward. Kante had a lot of opportunity in the attacking area where he just has so much space. And in my opinion, that's not Kante's game.
No, it's not.
And then so Kante will be in that position when you expect a Mason Mount to be in that position, or a Kai Havertz to be in that position. And then so it was like it's interesting. Like every time you see them attack, this guy is like all the way up. He's like he's on the right side, and I was very and then one thing I talked about beforehand is Timo Werner. I think Timo Werner, more game that he's played, the more I think that he's more dangerous when you're playing him on the left. That's just my general opinion. I feel like the amount of pressure that he gets when he's playing through the middle, and apparently for some reason Kai Havertz was playing as a striker, which didn't make no sense. I don't get that, but anyways, I feel like if you're gonna play with Kai Havertz and Timo Werner, then Timo Werner has to be like left, and I don't understand why Giroud doesn't play. I don't. Is he not fit? Is he?
The game was crying out for Giroud.
Yeah, I think so.
Why?
But I think the problem.
Why didn't Lampard? Why didn't we have two strikers on the bench in Tammy Abraham and Giroud? Why didn't he start one of them?
I think for me, I think the problem about starting Olivier Giroud and Tammy Abraham is both of them are different strikers. Giroud is a target man. Abraham is not a target man. There's a difference between both of them. So
I would have played both of them.
Yeah.
I would have played Giroud and I would have played Werner. But I'd played Werner out. I played Werner out left. I'd have played Mount out on the right because he's right-footed. So you use common sense.
Yeah.
And then he would have been in areas. You could have played Havertz through the middle, and then you just take out one of your midfielders.
And the thing is, well, like when you went down to 10 men, I didn't really see the points in especially when you were at 10 men, like one of the reasons of having a target man is to relieve the pressure from the defense. Like literally the whole time, Liverpool were just basically just playing, walking football, walking off football, over 50 walking football.
Exactly, that was what they were doing.
So you didn't have a target. So even if you got the ball, it's like, okay, who do you ping up to? No one's there to hold the ball up. All you just is just Timo Werner maybe going to counter pick. There wasn't there. So for me, Lampard substitutions, Lampard's lineup, I don't think was great. I appreciate the fact that because people say, "Oh, Chelsea's players, all their players aren't there yet." Okay, that's a fair enough point. We'll see what Mendy does. We'll see what all the new signings do. However, much like yesterday with Manchester United, where I didn't field off our strongest 11, they weren't fit, they weren't ready. But there's still a way that you play the game.
Yeah.
And Havertz, much like Daniel James, not a right winger. He says he's number 10, so that's not really the ideal place to place him. When you went down to 10 men, Christensen, it was poor, but it is what it is. Kepa, what can you do about Kepa? That's not going to change. But the substitution of taking Havertz off and bringing on Tomori. So effectively going back to a back three of some sort.
Exactly, that was what I was expecting. Like I was expecting the red card, bring on Giroud, take off either Mason Mount or Jorginho. Then now we are putting the target man, so we know we're gonna put the back three.
Because you still had Alonso. You still had who was playing alongside Christensen? Zuma. Yeah. So you said was Aspilicueta playing?
No, he did not play on the bench.
No.
I expected him to play.
Essentially, you could have still played three at the back. Is what I'm saying, and having Zuma, having Alonso, and then having I've forgotten the other guy, Reece James or whatever. I'm going to send to the back. You didn't necessarily need, and those guys can play as a three at the back with Zuma in the middle. You didn't necessarily need to bring on Tomori, giving you no output at the top, really. So, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the only thing I would say with regards to the whole Chelsea did well kind of thing. It's like, well, they defended well, yes, they were compact, but that's about it. One or two counter-attacking chances in the first half, but that was it. I wouldn't say that Chelsea played well. I just think that Chelsea defended well until they went down to 10 men. But Liverpool had most of the ball, the possession for most of the game, and were just wait. Essentially, they were waiting. Offsides here.
She's there.
So, But at the end of the day, like, and I said this, I know Tom knows this, I know Yasser knows this. I've said multiple times, if Liverpool to sign Thiago, they're going to win the league. And we saw
I said the same thing.
I really
with or without Thiago.
we'll about to, but Thiago seals it for me. Like I'm calling it now. I'm actually calling it. I know it's only the second week in, but I'm calling it now. Liverpool have won the league.
We already,
I'm already calling it, and I think everyone else should be the same because like that, unless they have like catastrophic injuries, and obviously Jota, who's fairly decent, hasn't started yet either. Unless they have catastrophic injuries, I don't see how they lose this league because City haven't strengthened. Chelsea, it will depend on Lampard and whether they're going to gel or not.
Lampard. That's the key. Because Red Devil. Let me just say real quickly because I think I slightly disagree with you because I think if you just look at if I was Lampard and if I'm like in the locker room, this is what I'll be saying to my players. I'd be like, okay, guys, yes, we gotta. We were 10 men down. We were 1 man down. We had a red card through stupidity, through our own. Like we basically defeated ourselves. Like if you're looking in our way, yes, did Liverpool dominate the second half? Yes, they did. But also, we like the thing is they just look at the scoreline. It was only 2-0, and Timo Werner had a penalty, and Jorginho missed. That could have easily been 2-1. And you look at
Kepa. Let me put it this way, Yasir. When you saw Leeds play against Liverpool, right? Okay, and that was at Anfield, by the way. Which team played better? Leeds have inferiorly. Their players are even though Chelsea don't have their players. Okay, they'll say they don't have their players. Leeds have an inferior squad to Chelsea. Full stop.
That's true.
Which team played better against Liverpool, Leeds or Chelsea? This is even before 10 men.
But I think Leeds played better. You're right. I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying is like, for some reason, when I was watching the game, I had a sense that Chelsea was giving way too much respect to Liverpool. Like sometimes, like when you're playing against a team like Liverpool that they're the champion, like the opposition, like when you're playing against a champion, no matter who you are, the opposition has to have that sense of, you know what, guys, we're not gonna make it easy for you guys. We're gonna go after you guys. We're gonna take our chances. That should be like the mindset. But when I was watching Chelsea, I feel like they respected Liverpool way too much. Like because there's opportunities where Timo Werner had one-on-one. He had Fabinho back healing on his back heels, and then he didn't take him on. He slowed down. He passed the ball. Conte, where he had an opportunity to shoot, he did not. There's opportunities. I feel like if that killer instinct where Chelsea, like, you know what, screw you guys. I don't care if you're Liverpool. Boom, 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 boom. Like Leeds did. Leeds did not care. Leeds was like, you know what, we're going to score.
Leeds were tactically set up to score, though.
But
they were tactically 100%.
But what I'm saying is like
Liverpool stood on too many traps.
But they're tactically not. Chelsea, in my opinion, had chances where they should have done far better. They were in positions where they should have done far better, and they didn't. And at this high level, you get those opportunities. The best teams are clinical. They score. Like they scored. Jorginho gets a penalty. You score that. You know what I mean?
I think it's solely on Lampard.
I totally agree with him. I totally agree with you because when you say against Chelsea, Red Devil, hi,
hey,
happy new season.
Happy new season. New season. Let's go.
Yeah. So I felt like playing against Liverpool, you should expect they'll come at you whenever they have the ball and stuff. But Chelsea they seem to set up and come into the game with the mindset of at least not losing the game, contrary to what Leeds did against Liverpool. So because of that, even when Chelsea did not score goals, when they had those chances and they failed to convert those chances, they ended up just being comfortable, being defensive, and coupled with the fact that they kept on losing many balls, giving out, turning over possession, making wrong, incomplete passes here and there, and they didn't seem like a side that was willing to react to that and improve, even coming into the second half.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it was basically down to the way Lampard set the team up. And there was something I noticed. Yeah, I have not seen a fullback in all my years of watching football that plays passes back to their centre backs as much as Reece James. I said it, and some people came at me to criticize
It was
it. But
getting
Reece James is fond of passing the ball back to his centre back. Except he's in the position, maybe just by the other corner flag, like the position.
yeah.
Corner
Two
flag, then
things
they
are
cross
because
the
of that.
ball.
Two things are
He
because
is
of that.
fond of passing the ball back to the centre back. If you compare himself and Alonso, for example, Alonso tends to be more offensive, willing to go forward, run with the ball,
That's because of
play with the
experience,
guy in
though.
front of him. But Reece always plays with the guys, behind him, and it seems to slow the build up down. I don't know whether it's a Lampard tactic, but it's something
Alonso's
I've
been
noticed
playing
in
a lot
him, not
longer
just from
than
this game.
Reece James.
And Alonso shouldn't wear Chelsea shirt again. I mean,
And that's the problem between Alonso and Reece James. At least Reece James defends proper.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't agree,
A fullback is a defender.
I
A
don't
fullback
agree.
is
He's
not an
not all
attacker.
that. No, he's not all that even defensively. I don't agree about Reece James.
I
There's
think
nothing
for me,
fantastic about him with
I think
defending.
I understand what Offside is saying about Reece James and the Marcos Alonso, but like I said before, we need to understand Liverpool beat us not just because they are that good, they're phenomenal, just because of our mistakes. That was also.
No, but now we're talking.
no.
Personally, I'm trying to
Go on, go on,
analyze
sorry.
individually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the whole team. Individually,
Oh,
Reece James part Canton missed passes, played a lot of wrong passes in today's game. I don't know what
Yeah.
was wrong,
that's what I'm
but it
saying.
happened
That's what I
several.
said. That's what I said. I told you when we begin. Like it's all about chemistry, understanding each other. If you look at the match here, when Timo Werner was playing at RS Leipzig, you say Posting was the target man. Timo Werner does his job. He knows what to do.
Yeah, but Abdullah, not to judge you and agree with offside, and also to agree with Thomas, that also comes from the coach. Like you're talking
Yes.
about, like we came in for this season, right? We got this first play. Yes, already Chelsea fans, and it's fair enough. We'll see what happens when Pulisic comes back, when Thiago Silva and all those things. So I don't think it should be reactionary. Like we shouldn't be reacting against United to see what happens. However, there are things you have to point out, like a point out with Ollie yesterday, that are coaching issues. Chelsea did not lose this game solely because Chelsea players made mistakes. They were coaching, there were tactical issues that Lampard adopted that played into Jurgen Klopp's hands. And frankly, when Thiago, if Liverpool actually started with a Thiago type player, because when Thiago came on, the amount of creative through passes he was making to like Salah and Mane. I know, yes, the Chelsea players were tired, etc. But the actual passes that he was making were something else. And this is bearing in mind that Henderson, who people don't rate as talented, made a brilliant pass to. I think he was the reason why Christian got sent up in the first place. Brilliant
straight
pass.
through the middle.
That's on 11. So tactically, and it's looking at the team as well. I'm looking right. Okay, hang on a minute. Like Liverpool not playing with a holding midfielder right now because Fabinho's in defense and they've got Keita doing something right. So what I'm going to do, much like what happened against Leeds, because why were Leeds successful? Okay, yeah, Leeds defense was a brick, but why did Leeds score 3 goals from open play against Liverpool, whereas Liverpool needed 2? They pressed them.
Yes.
They were up. Liverpool were quite high up the field. There was a lot of space. They pressed them. They got to every second ball, and they caused them problems. With Chelsea, rather than do that, they said, right, okay, we're going to defend really. We're going to be compact, and we'll just give an out ball to Havertz. And yes, okay, that works to a certain extent, to a certain extent. But then the whole plan fell apart when obviously he went down to 10 men, and Havertz can't do that ball by himself. And eventually Fabinho and the likes, found just ended up just man marking, not Havertz, sorry, Werner, sorry, and take him out of the game. So I think it's unfair, and Randolph Hicks, I actually would have quickly head off, but I think it's unfair to say Chelsea lost the game solely because they made a few mistakes. I think tactically, Klopp set his team up exactly like Leeds.
Yeah.
And Leeds, because Bielsa for me is a better coach. He's a better coach than Ollie and Lampard because he's If Leeds had a better defense, they would have beaten Liverpool.
Yeah,
they would have.
That's true.
Would have
beaten them. So the fact that he knew that I've got to press Liverpool, high up the pitch. The players have got to be fit and get every second ball, and will cause them problems. Chelsea, from start to finish, didn't do that. They were happy to cede possession to Liverpool and not get in their face at all. And that is ultimately why Chelsea lost this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tactics, and that's what I mean. Like such an experience. Like you look at a manager like Bielsa, been in the game for years now. You look at someone like Lampard, who's only been in for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the difference there. You know, and I think such a same with what happened with say Ollie last night, where Roy Hodgson is obviously at the age that he's at, but he's been in the game long enough to know how to get tactics right. And when you're that, and this is why these experienced managers have been that successful. You know, Klopp's been in the game for a while, so he knows what to do in terms of tactics. Same with Guardiola; they've been in the game for a while. These managers like Lampard aren't going to turn into, world beaters, and suddenly you found the next Pep Guardiola or the next Ferguson. It's going to take time. Lampard's not going to take this Chelsea team to a title, I don't think, in the next 2 years, because it's all about man management. And such as a team like Leeds, they haven't got these world-class stars. They haven't got, your Havertz, your Ronaldo's, Werners, whoever you want. They haven't got these players, but they've got players that listen. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is you want players in your team that are going to listen to you and that are going to learn.
Yeah.
And, you can say all you want about players such as Havertz coming in for £75 million. Leeds have bought, hardly anybody. They've bought quite a few players in, but he didn't really need to. The players have been drilled in with Bielsa for 2 years now. They could probably play a match, probably 2 matches in one day. 2 full 90-minute matches in one day. They are that fit as a fiddle. And like the Liverpool were very, very lucky that night. Very lucky. God was definitely on their side that night. 100%. And the thing with Bielsa is he's a very smart coach, and I've noticed it for a while, even when he was in the Championship. He's a manager that sets traps, and it's, he'll set probably about 10 traps out on a field. And if you stand in one of them, you're in the shit, because Liverpool were running back to their goal so many times that night. It was unbelievable. And such as Van Dijk didn't have a good game that night. World's best defender in the world. They say Trent Alexander-Arnold's the best right back in the world. He was absolutely crapping himself defensively. He had an absolute nightmare. This Leeds team are going to cause a lot of teams problems. I think, personally, I'll be honest, this Leeds team is better than the Wolves team. That 1 year that they went on an amazing run and they came out of nowhere and shocked everybody. Mm-hmm. I said before a ball had even been kicked this season, Leeds were going to be the team that will break into the top 6 or the top teams, because I think they will get Europa League. Bielsa will beat these knockoff teams such as West Brom and West Ham easily. Give them a brush aside, and he'll take on the big managers. I'm really interested to watch Manchester City versus Leeds. That's the game.
I'm waiting.
Two of the best tactical managers in the world. Mm-hmm. There, Guardiola, I think, amazing tactics from every single league he's been in. Bielsa the same. So that's the matchup that I want to see.
Exactly.
I feel like I agree with you guys that maybe Lampard's tactics was not the best. His lineup was not the best. But I feel like we sometimes maybe too focused too heavily on the tactics but because like when you watch the game and in any football game, especially at this high level, there are critical moments in the game that are like they completely change the game.
Yes.
For example, the game, in my opinion, in the first half, up to the Christensen red card, was pretty even. I will even lean in towards Chelsea, where Chelsea had, in my opinion, more opportunity, because what I saw was that Liverpool were playing a high line, and that was like, and Chelsea was terrorizing them, and they were getting so much space on the counter attack. And you see, like, and then Chelsea was doing they were sucking in Virgil van Dijk. I mean, there was this one time where Trent Alexander-Arnold had to run all the way back and save. I think it was, and he has to, and he made a tackle, and it was kind of a last dish tackle. So the thing is, so what happened was, that happened. That completely changed the game. Then you come back in, the first thing you do as a team when you're down 10 men is that you make sure you don't concede in the first 20 minutes, the first 5 minutes, first 5 or 10 minutes, you don't concede. What happened? They conceded in the first 5 minutes. That completely changed the game again. So you're down down a man, you're down a goal. That just changes. Like I mean, like as a player, like they like there's so much in your mind. You're in the game. It's so hard to focus on tactics and where you're supposed to be, all that when you're in the game, because you're in the game. You're playing what the game gives you. You're taking
Yeah.
what the game gives you. So you're down one goal. All right, then or you try to Liverpool starts getting possession, starts attacking Chelsea. Chelsea starts dropping deep. They're stuck in their half. They can't get out. What does Kepa does? Kepa does something very stupid. You're down 2 goals. At that point, the game is beyond you. And at that point, and then you got to think about this. There's a lot of young players in our Chelsea team. A lot like Timo Werner is still young. What you call it? Harvard is still young, so their confidence dropped because they're saying, man, we're 2 goals down, we're one man down, and then the head starts dropping, and then what
Yeah.
happens is okay, you fast forward, you get to an opportunity where you get a break. Timo Werner does brilliantly, and Thiago fouls him. You get an opportunity to score a penalty. You were in, I think and I think the penalty was in like the 74th minute or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have 15 minutes to salvage a point. With
Yeah.
like because look at Liverpool dominated. You're down a man. You're down 2 goals. Kepa pretty much scored an own goal, and you still
Oh
have
my
an
God.
opportunity to get back in the game. What happened? You missed a penalty. So for me, in terms of Chelsea, I feel like yes, the Liverpool dictated the game. Yes, were they the better team? Yes, were they better tactically set up? But in my opinion, I feel like the game, for the way the game panned out, Chelsea could have came out with a decent result. And
Yeah.
then for me, I feel like that's something that if I was Lampard, I would use that to fuel my players. Because I'd be like, you know what, guys, yes, they're the better team. Yes, they're the champions. Yes, they scored 99 points. Yes, they added Thiago and they have an amazing squad. But we were still in the game. And that's the thing that I feel like that should be a big positive for Chelsea. And for me, that's why for me, I'm gonna be very, very, very interesting to watch the Arsenal Liverpool game. Because I feel like Liverpool might actually lose that game. Because the thing is, the way Arteta was set up against this Liverpool team will be almost identical to the way that Chelsea played. But the thing is, when Arteta and Aubameyang and those front players like Willian, when they get those opportunities, they will be more clinical. In my opinion, so
Yeah.
I feel like Arsenal might might actually make a shot deuce might actually cause an upset and might actually beat Liverpool next weekend because I think they play next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like for me the thing I don't like about Lampard, and I always like, and I said this to Abdullahi and all the Chelsea fans, is that Lampard now he needs to decide now who are his best players and where exactly like where are their best positions, and pick 11 that he said, you know what, this is going to be my 11 for majority of the season. This is
Yes.
my starting 11. Yes, they have injuries. Yes, they have that, but at least put their replacements, the people that come off the bench, they're going to replace your starting 11. At least put them in place first, where the fans and the the neutrals can see, okay, Chilwell's injured. He's gonna take Alonso's spot. And where you say that, like, where you're like, okay, Zuma's gonna start no matter what. That means Thiago Silva is gonna be his partner. Where you can start seeing like the best team of Chelsea. Where what you have now is that the question is, now you have started question like, where's Timo Werner's best position? Where's Kai Havertz's best position? I think those questions need to be answered quickly by Lampard. And that's for me. That's gonna be my criticism with Lampard. And so yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, we've talked a lot about well, maybe what Lampard could have done going into this game. But I just want to know, what would you have done differently in terms of fielding players, starting 11?
I would have
Because for
done.
me, Kai Havertz was not it, and I was impressed with Lampard at least for taking him off when he needed to take someone off.
Yeah, that's good man management. Yeah, but at the same time, you've got to take somebody off because you can't play one centre half.
Yeah.
Because you've got Reece James, who is a wing back by trait. You've got Alonso, who will play better as a wing back than a left back, and then suddenly you've only got Zuma, who's going to be one. So it's going to be a one-man defence pretty much on his own.
Yeah. But the Lampard of last season could have easily taken out Kante or taken out Kovacic. He was unpredictable last season. But I'm saying I was impressed that he could see that Kai Havertz was not doing well enough. But my question now is, with the starting 11, what would you have done differently? What players would you have dropped? What players? Because we have injuries, we have players that are not fit.
Well, personally, what I would have done is I would have played Werner out wide. I'd have played him from the left because he causes more problems from the left than he does centrally. And he was never going to really have a good go against Van Dijk or Fabinho in the air. And he didn't exactly. And the first half was a prime example where it wasn't working for him in the middle. At halftime, Lampard should have switched him out to another side and then brought on a natural striker, brought on someone like a Giroud or maybe even a Tammy Abraham. But what I would have done is I would have set up.
No, Monday. Next Monday.
Yeah, but what I would have done, I would have brought Giroud on and I'd play through the middle and I'd put Werner out wide on the left and I'd play Mason Mount on the right hand side and I'd play Havertz in the middle. And then for me personally, I didn't think, we Kante, because Kante doesn't really fit the system. It was getting in areas where you wouldn't normally find Kante in. So I would have probably took Kante out because Kante coming off the bench can change a game. If you play him if you play him at CDM, he can break a press. He can stop the Liverpool press easily. Because Jorginho was playing there, he couldn't impact that at all. So, I think it's a case of you either play Jorginho or you play Kante, but you don't play them together. Simple as that. Kovacic is a good ball winner. He's a good ball winner. Jorginho is a good defensive midfielder, holding like the anchor of the midfield. But I don't think Jorginho is as good as Kante at breaking a press. And prime example is when Chelsea play Leeds, they have to drop Jorginho. Because in that midfield, he will get absolutely done by the pressing play. As soon as he gets the ball, he'll be on like a rash straight away. The fullbacks, the defenders, they'll be onto straight away by quick players like Bamford, Alioski. Be straight onto him. Simple as that. Kante is more calmer on the ball and he can pick a pass out, say 30, 40 yards up to a Giroud or something, up to say, play it out wide to Werner. So you've broken the press. Then this is the reason why you don't play Jorginho and Kante together, because Kante will play further forward. So suddenly he's playing out of position. So he's playing in areas where you wouldn't normally find him. He can't do anything in them areas because that's not his natural position. So I wouldn't have played Jorginho and Kante together today. I wouldn't have done that. I'd have played Havertz through the middle in the number 10. I'd have got number 10 for Havertz behind Giroud. That's how I would have played it. I would have probably played Kante and Kovacic together and have had Jorginho on the bench. Because Kante is better at dealing with a press than Jorginho. Jorginho's one of them players that can hold the game up. He can slow the game down. So if you're winning 3-0 or something, you don't really need to bring on any attacking players. You'll just want to not concede so you can keep the clean sheet and you can minimise the goal difference. That's the reason why you probably bring Jorginho on. In terms of the defenders, well, you can't really help that because they haven't got a backup right back. You could have probably played Aspilicueta, but fitness was a problem with that. So suddenly there was no leader in the defence. There was no leader. Aspilicueta is the leader at the back, and he's the captain's the whole team. Suddenly, Alonso is not a leader. Reece James has only recently broken into the Chelsea first team. Christensen is not a leader. Zuma has been out on loan to such Everton and everything, so he's not been at Chelsea enough to be that leader. Kepa in net cannot be the leader. He's not a leader. So suddenly in the defence, you've not got a leader. So, and this is where Thiago Silva comes in, though. Thiago Silva makes that difference because he's got that leadership quality and he can tell people what to do. And Thiago Silva will make players like Reece James better because and like we just said about where Reece James plays too many balls back to the centre halves, Thiago Silva will allow him to do that, but he'll coach him and he'll bring him up and show him the traits as to, no, you don't need to do that. You need to play that into Kante, into the defensive midfielder, or you need to play that up to the wing, to such as Ziyech, who will probably be playing on the right wing. So he will tell him to pass the ball forward, not backwards. And that's why when you get pressed, he will not be under pressure then. Because you either play the ball forward, you've got two options. Play it up the wing, or you play it through the middle. But you do not play it back at all costs. No way at all costs. And that's why Thiago Silva will make him a better player. And that's why young players learn from the experienced players. I think that's a very unreliable point of why Lampard brought Thiago Silva, his experience. Yeah, he's 35. You know, people say his legs might have gone. Experience is better than youth. I'll say that now. Experience is better than youth. I would sooner have 11 players out there that have been in the game 10 years and that might be like 30-year-olds. I'd sooner have that than have a young, inexperienced squad of 19, maybe 20-year-olds, because they know the game more. It's as simple as that. And if you've got players that know that's why Bayern Munich are having so much success. Got experienced players, and they've got experienced players playing with young players. They've got a mix. Chelsea don't have that. But I'll just say this now. If Chelsea had their full strong lineups, they had all their new signings, Werner, Havertz, Chilwell, Ziyech, doesn't change the game one bit. They still lose that game by at least a goal. They still lose that game. I think they might have scored, but I still see them losing that game.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I can hear you.
I don't know what happened. I don't know where everyone, few people went.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody's speaking.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
So that
Hello?
Abdullahi, you keep breaking up.
Hello, Abdullah, are you there?
I can hear you, but I can't hear him.
Yeah.
I can hear you guys.
Anyways.
I hear you guys.
Yeah, anyways, I just let me before you came on. So is this Red Devil? Okay, Red Devil is not here. I don't know who I'm speaking with. But there was something. Okay, yeah, we're talking about Liverpool. And we saw the game they played against Leeds. Personally, I'm of the opinion that they are not necessarily the Liverpool of last season.
They're not, no.
They're very much fallible. In as much as they defeated Chelsea 2-0 today, I saw a team that would lose more games or at least would drop more points in the current season. I didn't see a team that is impenetrable as supposedly as they were last season and the season before. I don't know if it's my own opinion or maybe I'm being a little bit biased, but that's what I think. I don't think Liverpool is as strong.
No,
even though when
Thiago makes a difference.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And Jota does, because Jota would probably come off the bench and take one of the front three spots. So probably make an impact from there.
Hello.
Oh yeah, you went for a second.
Oh yeah, he obviously made an impact, and to be honest, I fear for what he may do this season. I saw some flicks, some passes. He was just passing the ball in different, unexpected angles. But as a team, Liverpool as a team, Mane may have scored a double.
Listening.
Hello, are you there?
Yeah. Just keep speaking, mate.
Oh yeah, Mane may have scored a double, but as was said earlier, Chelsea could have gotten something from this game. Chelsea lost the game more due to their own what should I use? I don't want to say stupidity or failures.
Pre-match knowledge.
Yeah, more than Liverpool's brilliance. I didn't see a Liverpool side that was excessively brilliant or impenetrable. I just felt like the points were dropped.
Yeah, I want to see it again. Do you have the keys for him?
By Chelsea.
The keys are there. Once he's fixed them.
Hello.
Hello? Yeah, just keep speaking. I don't know what's going on with Abdullah.
There's a little noise in my background as well. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm sorry, guys. I'm at work right now, so I apologize.
It's okay. What's happened to Abdullah?
I don't know. Let's continue without him. He'll probably come back in a minute.
While we're waiting for Abdullah, please can we just take a moment and talk about Tottenham Hotspur and their performance earlier today?
Wow.
My goodness, that was. I didn't see that performance coming out of anywhere, especially after the first game, the loss against Everton. 5 goals. What could have prompted that performance from Tottenham? I don't know.
I think it's down to the manager because I think because
really.
No. Right. The reason why I'll say that is Ancelotti. The difference between Ancelotti and Hasenhüttl is a massive difference. Ancelotti is more organised and set up because they came with a game plan. You know, out there with Southampton, I didn't see the game plan put to full effect. I saw it partly of a game plan. It was, you know, we'll give Tottenham the space to play the ball into the channels, and we'll try and create our chances from set pieces and try and get goals, which worked to a certain extent. But Tottenham could easily counteract that, where right, don't play as aggressive, so we're not going to give away as many fouls. Therefore, you can't use your set pieces trait. Therefore, suddenly Southampton have run out of ideas. And when it plays into Mourinho's hands, and this is Mourinho at his best, where he makes other managers and he makes other teams run out of ideas. They come with a game plan with probably 5 things on the game plan that can impact the game to win. As soon as all of them, he'll get rid of all 5 of them ideas. And then suddenly they're just playing out there on freedom and it's just go and express yourself. And if that doesn't, and so they're going out there with no instructions or anything, coming up against a team like Mourinho, who's got a list as long as your arm full of instructions on what to do. So, the reason why they won that game today was basically on tactics. Exploit Kyle Walker-Peters at right back. Exploit him completely. Yeah, we can hear you, Abdullahi. There we go. You've gone past.
I think my internet went off.
Okay. Exploit him. But anyway, like I was saying, exploit Kyle Walker-Peters at right back because Jose Mourinho knows him. He used to play for Tottenham, so he knows everything about Kyle Walker-Peters, and he knows how good Son is on the left-hand side. So you can play Son from the left and then invert him more centrally, and that's what he's done today. And that's why it's worked so much as a treat because Son, he had an absolute fielder of a day. Son and Harry Kane switched what should be happening. Harry Kane should be the one who's scoring all this, and Son should be the one who's creating the chances for him. But that's the difference. And I think someone like Bale coming in helps both of them too, because I don't see Bale scoring as many goals as the other two, but I see Bale creating all the chances for the other two. And he makes up for the difference where Tottenham need that creative midfielder, but he can be that creative player from out wide. That's why Liverpool do not need a creative midfielder, because they have creative fullbacks. Whereas Tottenham are going to use it where, right, we're going to have one creative winger. Everton use James Rodriguez as their creative player. That's how they create their chances now, James Rodriguez. Gareth Bale will be like James Rodriguez, except he will play out wide. And that's the difference, because Gareth Bale is very crafty because you can use him as, you can play him out wide, but he can play in the false 9, he can play in the hole. And then suddenly you can use Harry Kane and Son as split strikers. And then you can play him as a centre forward, somebody like the Sosa behind him. So suddenly, Mourinho's got a lot of leverage in terms of tactically what he can do. And he can easily switch the game around. And exactly the same with such as bringing in like Reguilon. Reguilon is an amazing attacking fullback.
Amazing.
And we're saying down this left hand side with Son and Reguilon, they're going to rip any right side of a team apart. Like when Tottenham play, we're going to use Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold goes too far forward and he can't get back in time, Reguilon's going to have a free run down there, or Son going to have a free run down there, no problem. They're going to be laughing. And that's why such as Leeds gave Liverpool the game that they did by the wings. And I think it was Harrison scored. Yeah, I think it was Harrison, yeah. He came in off the left-hand side where Trent Alexander-Arnold would have been, and he's cut inside, and then he's come across the goal, and he scored. So, and there you go. So that's exactly what I mean by, so you cut inside the fullbacks, and then suddenly, oh wait, it's 2 versus 3, and that's better odds than having 3v3 or having 4v3 if you've got a full defence there. But Mourinho's tactics today was spot on, and it's won Tottenham the game ultimately today because Southampton, I think probably from what minute was it? I think it was from I'd say personally from the 26th minute, Southampton ran out of ideas. They ran out of ideas fully, completely. In terms of tactics, they ran out of ideas.
I think I agree with you. I think this game against Southampton actually might change a lot of people's minds on Mourinho because what I saw today was very different. Especially the players that shocked me the most was Harry Kane, because Harry Kane, everybody will agree with me that he's a world class striker.
Yeah.
He will score goals for you. But one thing that I criticized Harry Kane for was that, especially in today's football, for me personally, I feel like strikers should do more than just score goals. Where you have that's something that like people criticize.
Firmino at Liverpool because he doesn't score enough goals, but he creates assists.
Yes. So and then you have players like Lewandowski that does both. So and then and Benzema and whatever. So for me, it's like, okay, other than a goal scorer, what are you, Harry Kane? And what I saw today was that a different version of a Harry Kane that maybe you won't see like a year or two ago. Maybe it's because it may be maturity, or I don't know what it is, or it may actually has a lot to do with Mourinho. Maybe Mourinho pulled Harry Kane aside and said, "Listen, at times you might not be. I want you to do the best for the team. Yes, I want you to score goals, get your goals, but at the end of the day, I want you to do what's best for the team." And the fact that Harry Kane had 4 assists today, and the way he was dropping deep and he was giving the balls to Song, and he was happy that Song was scoring those goals. For me, that's something I did not see from Kane before. Before, Harry Kane was most likely like, I'm gonna score all the goals of the team, and that's it. There was a time where he even disputed one of Eriksen's. Eriksen scored a goal or something like that, and they awarded to him, and he just like him and Spurs and everyone disputed, and so he could so that goal could be counted for Harry Kane or whatever. But today I was like, Harry Kane assisting a Song, dropping deep. I never saw that from him.
Freshness.
I never saw that from him, and then you got to give credit. For me, I'll give a lot of credit to Mourinho on that, because especially under Pochettino, you would not see that a lot.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't have hardly seen that because he would have wanted it to be the other way around.
Yes, exactly. And for me, that just makes Harry Kane more dangerous. If Harry Kane plays more like that, where he not only is he getting goals, but he's providing assists, dropping deep. Because Harry Kane, everyone knows how dangerous he is. Because if he draws the defense, and because if Harry Kane moves from instead of being up top and occupying defenders, if he drops deep, all the defenders are gonna they have to mark him, or else he's gonna hurt you, and that just creates so much space for Son today, and it was phenomenal. I give a lot of credit to Mourinho, and also I don't know what the Southampton manager was doing. How do you not change the way your team is playing? How do you I mean, in terms of like how do you let one team score 4 identical goals on you? That should never happen. As a manager, you should be like, okay, I understand what's going on. We're pressing high, and we're pushing because that's how Southampton play. They play a pressing game where the whole team presses high. which ends up them leaving a lot of room for a team to counter attack. And you knew Mourinho knew that knew that he game plan for that. And as a manager, you're supposed to look at that and say, you know what, that's not working. They just scored not once, twice, three times. At least change it the fourth time. This how does that even happen? How do you concede three identical goals like that? That makes no sense. So I was surprised. I really was surprised. And
But
yeah,
yeah, but I want to understand you. Yeah, earlier you gave credit to Mourinho. I mean, after today's performance, say yeah, it's credit to Mourinho's abilities and all that. And at the same time, you're also talking about Southampton. Are you saying after today? Remember the loss against Everton? That's Tottenham. Are you saying all of a sudden after just one game, all of a sudden they are now that very good team, and Mourinho has done transformed the whole squad and all that? Is that
Yeah,
what
but
you're saying?
it's
It seems it
it's
seems
completely different.
contradictory.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
yeah,
complete.
good.
I'll stick up for you in that instance because it's completely different because Ancelotti is a lot better than Hasenhüttl in every single way for what he's won, for the way he set up his teams, and Everton are better players.
Yeah,
And
then in that
ultimately,
case, it's not
it
down
came
to
down to
what Mourinho did
yeah,
with the team.
and ultimately Tottenham they lost the game on a set piece, which is pretty much a schoolboy error. Because if you defend, managers coach teams how to defend set pieces every single day in a training session. A defense, if you get you'll get one of your three coaches, and they will teach the defenders how to defend different scenario set pieces. So from free kicks to corners to crosses to balls from so say long balls. They will coach them on doing that every single time in a training session. So it shouldn't be. So the only reason why Tottenham lost out in the Everton game was due to a set piece, and it was a schoolboy error in terms of the centre backs part because you can't allow a centre forward to just have a darted run and a free run between your two centre backs. That is just a schoolboy error. One of them has to mark him or at least barge him off of his stride so he doesn't have a free run and a free hit at the ball. And if Tottenham do that, the game ends a draw. Because it's simple as that, because then Tottenham don't create anything else from that. So the only reason why I'll say it's different is because Ancelotti came with the game plan and it worked perfectly. And they have better players. Tottenham didn't and in Mourinho's post-match interview after that game, you could tell by the words that he was using where the strikers, well, he didn't say it, but the strikers were lazy. The strikers weren't pressing. The attacking players weren't pressing. The team wasn't working as a team. But obviously, he's taken the comments from that. He's taken that and he's gone to the training session and said, "I said that about you, and I stick by that 100%." And that's why players like Harry Kane today have shone completely because they've listened to him. He's gone back. He said, "Right, I've said this about you. I believe in you as players, but what I said about you, you need to improve on." And this is what I mean by you improve best. You become better players from mistakes. Messi, one point in time, made mistakes. Messi ran out. Let me talk about Messi. Pirlo, all these great players made mistakes when they were young. But and even when you're a lot older, you still see when you're an experienced player, you still make mistakes. You're not going to have an amazing season when you're not going to make one error at least. But it's how you come back from that error. And that's why such Harry Kane and Son didn't perform to the game plan that Mourinho set, but they've come back stronger and they've come back better this time round. And that's and that's man management. That is Mourinho to a T, man management there. Because you've made the players learn from what they've done, they've educated themselves on it, and you've made them better. And I know it's only two games, but it's only going to get better and
I
better.
think it's too early. It's too early to say, especially now they've signed Bill. They're talking about Dele Alli leaving the club.
Which is a
Bill
good
has not
Dele
played
Alli does not
regularly
change
in a
anything in
long time.
Mourinho's. Dele Alli does not suit Mourinho's system. It's as simple as that. He doesn't suit their system.
Is it that he doesn't suit his system, or he just hasn't been good enough for the past couple of
No,
seasons?
no.
Because that's what I think.
because under Pochettino brought him to the club. He brought him from MK Dons. You know, nobody had even heard Dele Alli when he was at MK Dons. Nobody even knew him, and he turned him into an England, World Cup player.
Yeah, but
He took him from League One to there.
He was bad.
Yeah. Last season. Yeah, last season. But every player is going to have an off season. Every player has an off season. It's how, and like I've just said, it's how you come back from that. If you don't come back from that, then at that club, you're finished. You need you need a change. Mourinho's given Dele Alli the time to show him what he can do. The first year under Mourinho, it was a write-off for Tottenham because midway through, through a season, they've brought in a new manager. That is a trial season. Mm-hmm. It's happened with Man United with Ole. Ole has had he had the half year as caretaker manager to find out everything about his players. He got rid of the players that he didn't like in the summer, and then he's brought in the new players. Dele Alli, if Mourinho gets rid of Dele Alli, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest because he's given him his chance. He's given him the time that he needs. Dele Alli has not shown him anything, and if you don't show a manager what you're capable of, or you don't work at least to a high level, I don't believe Dele Alli has been trying at all for Mourinho, not at all. And when you don't do that for your manager is not going to respect you. And if your manager does not respect you as a player,
Mourinho liked him. Oh, come on, man! Mourinho liked him when he came on. He was one of the first players that Mourinho got to talk with.
Yes,
and Mourinho tried to work with and got into the first starting lineup and all that. How do we then turn around to say, maybe he
like I said though, that's a trial year. That was the trial season. This is serious now. This is Mourinho Mourinho this season will want to win a trophy. Daniel Levy will have said to Mourinho when he went through the vision and the ambitions for this season, it's win a trophy. And if players don't have the ambition to play for the manager, because Dele Alli clearly doesn't have the ambition to play for the manager, then what? If you don't have the ambition to play for your manager, how do you have the ambition to want to win a trophy for the club? That's why players like Eriksen left. Eriksen did not have the ambition to play for Jose Mourinho, so he left. Danny Rose did not have the ambition to play for Jose Mourinho and have the ambitions of the club, so he's left. That is why players like Harry Kane and Alderweireld signed the new contract, for example. Alderweireld signed the new contract. Mourinho clearly could see he wants to play for me. He wants to play my system. He's listening to me. Right, I want to keep him. Jan Vertonghen, plays the same way as Alderweireld, same position, everything. Yeah, clearly he didn't see the same in Vertonghen what he did in Alderweireld. That's the reason why Vertonghen's out the door and Alderweireld's still there, because they fit his system. Bale perfectly fits his system. Needs a creative spark. Needs that flair. Fits his system perfectly. So Mourinho has rectified what has gone wrong at Tottenham. The downward spiral of Tottenham has gone now. This is new. This is different, and that's why this season is different for Tottenham Hotspur. Not just with the signings, because Mourinho has changed Tottenham under Pochettino. Pochettino, towards the end, the players looked tired of him. They didn't look like they wanted to play under him anymore. They wanted a difference. They wanted a change, we say. The players didn't change, so it had to be the manager. Mourinho's come in, fresh ideas, fresh everything. Now it's changed.
Well,
that's why. Yeah, go ahead, mate. I know you've been trying to get in.
No, I know. I'm a United fan. Okay, so I had Mourinho as a manager, but one thing I will say about Mourinho is I'm never gonna be one of those fans that I'm not a disrespectful person generally, so I'm not gonna disrespect managers. I never disrespected Moyes, never disrespected Van Gaal, never disrespected Mourinho, and I'm not gonna disrespect Ole. That's not the type of person I am. But for Mourinho, one thing I feel like people don't give him enough credit for is that Mourinho, he's as a manager, he has a winning mentality as a manager. And sometimes when you're managing, especially players in the modern day football, sometimes when you have players that don't have that winning mentality, then they what happens is they the pressure becomes too much for them.
They're the wrong players.
Cause yeah, exactly. So the play because the pressure becomes too much for them, and then because the thing is that when Mourinho came in, he looked at Dele Alli because he played against Dele Alli. He knew there was a talent in Dele Alli. He knew there was a player in Dele Alli, but then when he worked with him, he realized that like players like Dele Alli and Danny Rose and Eriksson, there's players that was there that just didn't have that ruthless
Ambition.
winning mentality.
Mentality. Yeah, I think it's
Yes,
the personalities and mentality.
they didn't have it because Mourinho. What? Because the thing is, Mourinho. The one thing he loves or he praises more than anything is the mentality of the players. Like, because at the end of the day, a player can have, in terms of Mourinho, a player can have all the ability in the world, but if he doesn't have the mentality, then you get to a point where the player doesn't become reliable. And with Dele Ali, that's exactly what happened to him. And people, yeah, people can say whatever they want about Mourinho and his relationship with Dele Ali, but no one can say that Mourinho did not give Dele Ali every chance he possibly could give him. Dele Ali just doesn't have it. In my opinion, doesn't have. Would not.
And yeah, and another thing
Yeah.
with players, though, I think is they need to have belief. They need to believe because like I say, players like Harry Kane and everything believe at some point they're going to win they're going to win a trophy. And that's what I mean. So, and that's what I think you're trying to get at is
Yeah.
you have to have that ambition, but you also have to have that belief that So yeah, it's going to take us time, but suddenly we're going to get there. We're on the road to getting there.
Because the thing that annoys Mourinho a lot, especially in the media and everything, is that the term where people say, the argument people say that Mourinho never plays good football. Mourinho, Mourinho as a manager could care less about playing good football. At the end of the day, it's about the result. It's about winning for him. That's what he always based his philosophy as a manager as. In other clubs, did he play maybe better football, attractive fuller in football in his earlier days? Yes. But at the end of the day, Mourinho learned as a manager with all his experience that at the end of the day, what matters is the result. Because the
Yeah.
worst feeling in my opinion, for Mourinho is playing well and coming out losing. That doesn't sit well with Mourinho. Mourinho rather play bad and come out with the 3 points than play well and come out with no points. That's in terms of Mourinho, he rather do that.
And it's given him success in recent years.
Yeah, and then the thing is, so when he came to Spurs, the first thing people say for Mourinho is not going to play the attractive football that Pochettino plays. But then, in my opinion, is what I look closely as Harry Kane. Harry Kane is in the mindset as, yes, maybe we played more attacking and more attractive football under Pochettino, but we didn't win anything. You know what I mean? That didn't that literally took us nowhere. And at the end of the day, Harry Kane, in my opinion, as a captain, signifies where he stands with Mourinho. At the end of the day, he's saying, I want to win something in my career. I don't want to just continue playing good football and just being, that good team to watch. No, I want to be up there with the best teams in the world. I actually want to win silverware. And that's one thing I feel like maybe the media takes for granted when it comes to Mourinho. Because at the end of the day, because if just looking back and was just the evidence, especially with United, when Mourinho said that his best achievement with that he ever had as a manager was getting second with the Man United team he had, and I think he had 81 points or something like that.
Yeah, he did.
Like if you like people just stop and think about it, like that United team was not a good team, and yet he got them to get 81 points. That
Yeah,
is easy. That is not easy at all to get 81 points with with not with
with
You
Phil Jones at the
like
back.
this?
with a team that's not good, to be honest, with a team that had Fellini at midfield. You know what I mean? That's like that doesn't make sense. But Mourinho did that. So So for me,
He's going to win a trophy.
Are you guys
yes,
at some
there?
point.
that's one thing I respect Mourinho for.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can hear you, Abdullah. Yeah, so I'm just gonna cut it short, guys. But that's one thing I do respect about Mourinho.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
We can hear you.
we can hear you.
Let me put it in the chat for him.
But Mourinho will get you trophies. At the end of the day, Mourinho will get you trophies. That's something that Spurs fans like. That's what they want. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, they don't want to be because at the end of the day, when you have Arsenal winning FA Cups and Spurs not winning a single trophy in how long? No, it just for I don't know. I feel like he's gonna win them
Mm-hmm.
trophies.
Yeah,
To be honest.
yeah. I personally think he'll win in the Europa League.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, I think he'll win because he
Oh,
was in the Euro.
oh no,
And
go ahead.
the good fact that he said was every time that he's not been in the Champions League, he's always won the Europa League. And that's one thing that I will always stick by with Mourinho is if he isn't in the Champions League, he's won the Champions League. So if a manager can win the Champions League, they can win the Europa League. It's easy. It's as simple as that. If Ancelotti, like Ancelotti example at Everton, if he's won the Champions League and everything, then he can win the Europa League. Pep, if he was in that,
So
Klopp.
let me ask you this.
Oh, Abdullahi.
I think his internet went.
Yeah,
All right,
I think
all right,
his
guys.
internet's gone.
I'm gonna head out. It was nice chatting with you guys.
Yeah, man.
All right, see you.
Take care, man.
So let me
Can you guys hear me? After, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay.
So my internet went off. I was trying to fix my internet. That was the reason you guys couldn't hear me very well.
All right. Is it just you
Yeah,
and I left?
yeah. I think it's me and you now. Yeah. So my question to you,
I completely understand you guys. I completely understand. So where do you see Tottenham Hotspur?
Hello?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So like I was listening to what they were saying about Jose Mourinho and Tottenham Hotspur and everything. So my question to you is, where do you see Tottenham Hotspur finishing? Or you just the second matches we need to just chill and let them play
Oh,
together?
I think it's still early. It's still early, especially they have a new player, Hoiberg, and they also have what's his name? Harry
Gary
Kane.
Bale and this
Harry
guy.
Kane hasn't played consecutively or frequently in the past couple of years. So it remains to be seen how fast he can get back to match fitness and
Okay.
then fit into the squad and do what he has to do. Would they expect to see a Harry Kane of 7 years ago? I mean, he's older now. He also says he has learned and gotten better, matured better at this point. So things will be a little bit different. It remains to see how Mourinho will use him and all that. So I think it's too early to start making permutations on where Tottenham will finish at the end of the season. But one thing is certain, they will actually compete, at least compete for the top four. That's certain to me. They will compete, but if they will finish in the top four, it's too early to call. This is just match day 2, and I don't want to shoot myself in the foot yet.
Exactly. So overall, today's match, like
Sorry?
I said, overall it's been good, but today's match was a little bit
Yeah,
not too I expected most Chelsea fans to be hungry, but I think most Chelsea fans are just cool and calm because they understand the situation of things.
Chelsea fans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I was saying the last time we spoke, I was saying that those of you that we always on about when Havertz comes, when Timo Werner comes, when Havertz comes, and I kept saying take it a little bit slowly. You have to give these guys time, to bet in and get used to the league, and of course
There's no time though.
So for me,
there's no time though.
yeah, but for me personally, I'm okay with especially Kai Havertz. I've seen that it will take him a while. I think he's less mature, or he's not as mature as Timo Werner, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's been easier for Timo Werner to get into the team and blend in, and he might take a while for his goal to come, his first goal to come. But I see a player that is willing to try. He keeps trying. He has the right mentality. I'm not in a hurry with Kai Havertz. I'm not in a hurry with Kai Havertz at all. The key player, the main player for me, in all the new players Chelsea have bought this season, the main player for me is Hakim Ziyech. If we have Hakim Ziyech in the squad and have the remaining 10 players from last season around him, I think I would still be more optimistic and more comfortable as long as he's in the side.
But this is the thing, they don't have time. That's the problem. Like I think that given the amount of money that Chelsea spent this season, I think that I don't know what your owner Abramovich's expectation is. Abdullah, is that your mic? Why is your mic like that? Is that your mic?
Is it my mic? Let me check.
Is that offside?
It's like it's echoing, yeah. No,
okay, let me check.
No, it's not echoing.
It's breaking.
Breaking. Okay, if it's a connection, it's fine. So it's okay.
I think it's connection. Let me check.
I can hear it, so it has to be from your end.
Yeah, I think it's from my hand.
Okay.
Let me check.
But can I say something? Yeah.
Will Abramovich give Lampard time? Is my question to you.
You guys are quick. I mean, I expect him to give Lampard. I don't know what you describe as time. Your time may not be of the same measure as Roman Abramovich's time. But personally, I even if Chelsea doesn't make top 4 this season,
that's not
at least they compete.
Failure.
Wait, let me finish now. See, you see the thing you guys are fond of doing. You guys keep calculating the amount of money Lampard or Chelsea have spent in one transfer window. Remember, that is the accumulation of previous transfer windows that Chelsea did business, right? That is one. Secondly, it's
100 million on
100 million. Let me finish, yeah.
Okay,
Secondly, it's only common sense to know that the more the players you get in, the longer time you need, or the more time you need for them to bet, to gel together. You get me? So the fact that Chelsea signed players does not necessarily shouldn't even bring up the conversation around expecting them to deliver immediately. The more players you got in, you let go of players. You're supposed to give these new players time to acclimatize themselves and adjust.
Are you saying that if Lampard doesn't get top 4, that and finishes 5th, despite the fact the money that Chelsea spent this season, that Lampard will be in a job come the end of the season?
I'm not saying that would be a good result. That would be very disappointing. But personally, I would rather Chelsea give him, and now again, more importantly, beyond the position now at this point, beyond the position in the table, I think something that is what's more worthy is the points difference between that position and those above us, right? So it's not just enough to say, you can finish second, but then you're 20 something points, 10 something points behind the leader. That's not good enough, right? I know they say, yeah, one-eyed man is king in the land of the blind, or whatever, something like that. But finishing with that, that's a massive points gap is not good enough. So for me, it's not just about the position; it's down to the points difference between Chelsea and other teams above them. That's why I said, as long as we compete, you can compete and miss out on the Champions League by
But,
maybe goal
but
difference or
so that's
some
what I'm
score.
saying. So like compete. So like I think that I was seeing a lot of Chelsea fans, maybe not you offside,
Mhm.
and I think maybe offside sensible, but the likes of Abdullahi, the
Mhm.
likes of Darren, and a few others in that chat that Abdullahi set up,
Mhm.
Joe and I forgot the other person that's in the group. I think it's another girl as well or something.
Mhm.
And they were like, Chelsea going to compete for the title, Chelsea going to compete,
So,
Chelsea board, Chelsea sort, Chelsea this and so
I
on.
this is what I said. This is what I said. Like
You,
everybody keep asking me. I
Abdullahi,
said,
you said, and I quote, Kai
mhm.
Havertz is the German Zidane. That's
Yeah,
that's
I said,
that's what you said, Abdullahi. That's what you
mhm.
said.
I said, yep, I did. I'm not gonna argue that I did. But
Yes.
Kai Havertz needs to be given time because this is what we need to understand. The Bundesliga is different than the EPL. People will keep bringing up the same. It's massive different than the than the EPL.
I know
I
that.
think
The Dutch league is different from the Premier League, and Van der Beek came on and scored a goal. So like,
you cannot compare the Dutch league and the Bundesliga. It's total different way. Total different. Look
what's
at all Ajax players.
the Dutch league is
So
worse, is what you're saying.
look at Van Nistelrooy, Van Persie. Look at them. You can compare them. Van der Beek. Look at what's called this guy's name that went to Juventus. The
Son,
late.
yeah,
It's
yeah, but
a lot.
but
It's not.
Heung-min Son came from the Bundesliga, and look what happened there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
look
So
at, no, you can't compare Son. Son takes time for him to gel into EPL. It took him almost like I think a season or 2 seasons before he could understand what he's going to in EPL. It doesn't take much. It takes him more time for him to understand what the EPL means. It's all about time. Kai Havertz will come good. It's all about time. Like what was I told
yeah,
you now?
no,
I told her it's gonna
just like Arsenal fans
take
say that
maybe
Pepe will come good
one
and
month,
it will
two
take
months
time.
for him to understand.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying the
It
thing
will
is
take
that
time
this
for
the
them
thing
to
you get
for
is that Chelsea fans,
the team to
you guys said coming into the season. Now, of course, I'm not going to be reactionary. I'm only giving as good as I'm getting because this is what happened to me yesterday when everyone was like, "Oh, Ollie's a flop." Except Abdullahi, to be fair, you didn't. You didn't do that. You were being more reasonable with the ball. But so many people were being reactionary and saying we lost to Crystal Palace at home, despite the fact we weren't playing our strongest 11. Oh, Ollie's a flop. Ollie's use. Ollie's trash, etc.
I did not say
And I think
that.
that was reactionary. And to be
Yeah,
fair, you agreed with me, Abdullahi. You're one
no,
of the
no,
few
I'm
Chelsea
not.
fans.
I will say,
So
if you remember very well, the last time we went to
yeah, I remember in the hangouts you were like,
HH Hangout, I said something. Mm-hmm. If you remember the last one, yeah, yep.
yeah, I can hear you,
Mm-hmm.
Abdullahi. Go on.
If you remember the last time we went on HH Hangout, I said, mm-hmm. Yeah, I said if you remember, I told you, I said Lampard and Ole will win the league. It's all about the board, giving them time and making them understand what they want. They will surely win the league for me, but if they are not well backed and then like
Who will win the league?
okay, I
Liverpool,
said when I was
Liverpool
talking
in the league.
in HH and that HH was laughing at me when I was talking. I told him, I said Frank Lampard and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will win the one of them will mostly likely win the EPL. HH was laughing. I said the reason is because they are being bagged now. Now they have the player they want. Now give them time for those players to gel up, to build chemistry among each other. Once they build chemistry with each other and they
So
understand the style of play they want to play, it's gonna be difficult for team to stop them. So Pep Guardiola, I said in
Abdullahi, your mic is
Liverpool will win the
not
league.
great. Your mic is
But
not
I
great.
said if you look at Klopp and Pep Guardiola, it took them time for them to win the EPL. It took them massive time. when Pep came in, it took him time to kind of understand what they want to play. Like the same thing with Klopp. It doesn't take immediately to immediately. It takes them time. Sometimes 1 season, 2 seasons.
Abdullah, your mic isn't.
I'm coming.
What?
I think the network must be really bad. Oh, his mic is off. Hello.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you offside, but Abdullah's mic is a bit is messing around a
Oh,
bit. So
yeah.
now I'm at the home. So
It must have to do with the network.
who do you? So you mentioned a good point about who is it that you actually think is going to win the EPL title?
Yeah, you want to set me up, eh?
I'm not knowing
Well,
to say.
one thing is certain
Did
is
you,
with Manchester United.
did you actually say Chelsea last time offside?
No, Chelsea to win the title. Never. I haven't said it. I'm not drunk.
You never said that. Okay. That
Not
must have
even
been
when I'm drunk.
That must be when you're drunk. That
Not
must have
even
been
when I'm drunk. I
Abdullahi.
would say that. Chelsea, nah. No, there are certain things you try to analyze without sentiment. And I said earlier, just 10 minutes ago, that Chelsea, I mean, me saying this is just me saying that I don't believe so much in this Chelsea team with Lampard. Yeah,
Okay.
so far the way things are, because especially down to Lampard, there are mistakes. There are things he just keeps doing. Things that maybe if he had done this other thing, or he had gone left instead of going right, Chelsea would have gotten the points or gotten the victory, 3 points in that particular game. So for me, I feel like Chelsea may even perform worse than last season. Why? Because of certain players that we lost at the end of last season. Not necessarily because of their ability, but because of their experience and some form of balance they brought into the side. And also the fact that other teams also underperformed last season. Talking about Tottenham, Leicester City, Manchester United, and even Manchester City. But this season, I see these other sides have upped their game.
Yeah.
Right? Man City I expect them. They've not played any game yet, but I expect them to perform better and at least be closer to whatever team is at the top of the table. Arsenal certainly.
I don't know about Man City being closer because I haven't seen how they've really strengthened to even close the gap, to be honest. So, but I don't we'll see what happens with Man City. I think City's season is going to be interesting because aside from the Fernando, the Torres guy, I don't know who else they've really sort of brought in. I think will really
they lost David Silva.
They've lost David Silva. Aguero's still injured, and their first game is away to Wolves. They should still. You'd expect them to beat Wolves, but they didn't beat Wolves 2 times last season.
But Wolves is no longer as strong as they were last season. So these are dynamics to the game.
Didn't they win their first game? Did they beat?
But they still aren't. Even at that, they aren't as strong as they were last season. So there's nothing to guarantee that they can actually win this game after they won the one last season against Manchester City. It just means that Wolves are supposedly or expectedly less strong or weaker than they were last season.
But my question is, are City stronger than they were last season? Because I don't think City. I don't think City. I don't compared to last season where City lost more games than Wolves last season. So I don't. So are City stronger than they were last season? I can't see where.
That's actually why I feel they would do better this season. I feel like they would have learned from them because they're not used to being in that position that they were in last season. So now at this point, they have the experience of being at the top. The euphoria of winning, always winning. And now they also have the same feeling of losing games here and there. The hunger, the desire to get back to where they were before would be more than it was last season, right?
I'll say something controversial here. And maybe people will disagree with me. But for me, the reason why Pep Guardiola won his titles at Manchester City, is because he had one Vincent Kompany.
He had what?
Vincent Kompany in that sense, in the captaincy, because as we've seen with how Van Dijk and Alisson of Liverpool, having a commanding centre back who can actually marshal the whole back four and have good communication with your keeper, to me, is key to winning a successful 38 game. Like Vincent Kompany was there when Man City won every single title. with under Pellegrini, and yes, okay, they didn't win every single title under the sun, but he was there. Pep Guardiola, for me, from what I've seen, from his time at Barcelona, from his time at Bayern Munich, from his time at City, cannot improve defenders. He might make fullbacks a bit better and wingers, etc., but I've not seen him say, right, in the centre backs that Pep has been given, Pep Guardiola making those centre backs better. So he either has to get in a really good leadership centre back already, because Vincent Kompany was already there before Pep came, or
you don't think Fernandinho is good enough? He has experience. Fernandinho, you don't think he's good enough? I think
one thing, Fernandinho, I don't know, is he going into his last year of his contract or whatever? Like, I actually thought this was his last year. Two, if you don't, Fernandinho for me is City's best CDM. So much like what happened with Liverpool, Liverpool today against Chelsea, Fabinho played as a centre back, and it worked fine. He was okay; they were good, but you could see the space that was there when Fabinho wasn't basically playing. That got a bit resolved when Thiago came on. But when you had Keita, Henderson, and so on, there was a lot of space for them. And that's what happened against Leeds. That's why Leeds scored 3 past them, because they were so open. And it's the same thing with City. If Fernandinho is going to be a centre-back alongside Laporte, Rodri, who's supposed to be coming in to be the DM, I don't think is as disciplined enough and skilled enough as Fernandinho yet to play that role. And then you have what happened against Lyon. You know, that's my 2 cents about it. I just think that defensively, City have not improved, and you know they should still get top 4. But to be honest, I can't see City challenging Liverpool or getting on in the PL. And if Chelsea can't, then who else is really there that's going to be challenging Liverpool? Arsenal, Spurs, United. So of course Liverpool are going to win the league. Who's going to challenge Liverpool?
I see. I feel like Man City will challenge. They may not win it, but they will challenge. I don't even think, as I also said earlier, I don't think Liverpool will win it as a canter as they did last season. I think they will drop points. They obviously look more vulnerable this time against Leeds. The fact that they considered all those goals that they did speaks how they are set up this season. Forget about Chelsea. Chelsea just considered the game and considered everything. Just handed everything over to them. Chelsea didn't seem like they came to compete, right? But the Liverpool, beyond the game against Leeds, they've been considering, even in preseason, towards the tail end of last season and all that, they've not been exactly as strong as they were at the beginning of last season. So I don't think Liverpool would go unchallenged. That's assuming they will be the ones to win it. Manchester City will challenge. There will be other, teams that will
which other teams are going to challenge Liverpool though? This is
challenge. Man City will challenge. I'm telling you, Man City will challenge.
No. Who's going to score their goals?
Even Manchester United. I don't know whether I should say anything positive about them, but those ones,
we're not going to challenge.
Might take points. They might actually take points off the bigger teams.
Yeah, no, we always take points off Liverpool at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
That always happens because Liverpool always stumble at Old Trafford. So I've got
he's about to go on being so proud.
But we lose the Anfield.
Can we move on?
Yeah, but the point, I just think offside. That I think you're gassing City up a little bit too much because I just don't. Yes, I know it's a different season. Yes, I know that, but I don't see the defensive area of Manchester City is still very much suspect. And all it takes is a Laporte injury, which is very possible, and suddenly we're in a crisis again. They only have, for me, one. Fernandinho is and Laporte is good enough back there. Although you lose that. Yeah, go on.
Good. Okay, yeah. I'm also the way you think I'm hyping Manchester City. That's the same way I feel like you're hyping Liverpool as well. Because Liverpool, they also don't have a squad, a deep squad.
No. Let me interject that. You say have a deep squad, but now they've added. This is the thing. They've now added. They've added Thiago and Jota. They've just added Thiago and Jota. They've got the Greek left back sort of guy. They've got Minamino,
I'm talking about in attack, for example.
Minamino, Jota.
Oh my goodness! Oh my.
Yeah. They've got
Shaqiri.
Yeah, Shaqiri's still there. Origi's still there. So, but what I'm saying is that if they're front three, they have Jota, who was very good at Wolves. He's a very good player. I think last season he scored more goals than Firmino for Wolves, so he can come on. You have Minamino, who has.
I don't think.
And then of course Liverpool holds some other areas. So Keita will chip in. I'm sure Thiago will chip in. Trent Alexander will chip in. Andy Robertson for me is the best left back in the league. I can't think of a better left back than Andy Robertson.
You mean to tell me Liverpool win it again? Nah, I don't want to believe it.
I don't win offside. I don't want Liverpool to win it again, but I'm just looking at how. Yes, it's still early days. Yes, anything can happen, and like I said, Liverpool. But when you look at a team that can gel, and when you look at the added depth that Liverpool have now, and you look at the fact that the nearest challengers in City haven't strengthened. Chelsea and Manchester United, as you rightfully explained, are in time. They're going to be too inconsistent. Arteta will also need time. Mourinho with Spurs. We'll see. I think, but I also think he'll be inconsistent as well, and he's got Europa League to contend with. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I think you've got to give it to Liverpool now.
Network is breaking. Yeah. I think same here. Yeah, network is breaking up. I can barely hear everything you're saying.
Oh, you can't hear what I'm saying?
I didn't get every bit of it.
Okay.
I got the point you were trying to make. Yeah, but I didn't get everything.
The long story short of it is that I just don't see. To be honest, let's wait for 10 games. But would I be surprised if Liverpool ran away with it again this season? No, I would not.
Nah, it's too early. It's too early. Yeah.
It is too early.
I think we're just being reactive. After game 2, we're being a little bit reactive. After game 10, 15, we'll see how that works.
I'm not so happy about the way we've
Abdullah, you there?
I'm very happy with. We have to.
Abdullah, you there?
I can literally hear your own voice. I can hear your voice in the background. Can you hear it?
What, my voice?
Yeah, like you. I think it's echoing what you had said earlier.
Oh, right, okay. I don't know what's going on. All I hear right now is Abdullahi listening to some Chelsea interview or something.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. That's always really bad. I think I gotta go now, yeah?
Yeah, likewise, I have to head off as well.
Red Devil, I'm so sorry for most times you invite me. See, Lagos, Nigeria is a different ballgame entirely. Usually, by the time you're inviting me, I'm still on the road. I'm still in traffic.
Yeah.
And it's usually Monday mornings and all that. And Monday, sorry, beginning of the week, yeah. So
yeah.
Sometimes neither here nor there.
We're trying to. I'm either. It's usually Mondays or Tuesdays. I've got it fixed yet, so probably it'll be Tuesday this coming week. So if you, so what time would it be when it's 9 o'clock? What time would it be in Lagos? Isn't it like an hour ahead? So 9 o'clock UK time. What time would it be in Lagos?
Can you guys hear me?
For now, it's still the same. It's still the same for now. Maybe by next 2 months or so, it will change.
Okay, we can hear you, Abdullah, but we're heading off.
Yeah, Abdullah, we can hear you, but you're coming a little bit too late. Sorry.
Are you there, Abdullah?
Yeah. Anyways, it's the same time for now. Yeah. 9 here, 9 there.
Cool, no problem. Okay, fine. I'll send you a link on Tuesday then. That's when we're going to be doing the next talk. Okay.
All right then.
Cool. Okay. Take care. Peace, everyone. See you later.
Yeah. Bye.